Top of the morning to you. This is Monday with Friday, preparing you for a better week ahead. For generations, America has spoken a grand sentence over itself, with liberty and justice for all. It is one of the most beautiful aspirations ever written into national imagination. And of course, even though not in the Constitution, it is one of the most betrayed. A nation cannot endlessly proclaim freedom while building systems that selectively suspend it. It cannot celebrate justice while large portions of its people experience law not as protection but as a cruel threat. Nor can it invoke God while confusing cruelty for strength and domination for righteousness. We know this because history keeps repeating the warning. Japanese Americans were held in internment camps without trial or meaningful cause many years ago. Some died there. Decades later, the nation apologized, but apology after the fact does not erase what was revealed, that fear can make constitutional rights evaporate almost overnight. We've watched peaceful demonstrators shot dead in American streets by government authorities. We have watched law bent toward politics and politics weaponized through law. We have watched powerful people shield allies, criminals, lawless people. We have watched extremism rewarded, and we've watched powerful people manipulate institutions while ordinary citizens are told to trust the system. Many Americans now scorn Supreme Court decisions, perhaps including some Supreme Court justices, not just because they dislike the outcomes or increasingly the justices themselves, but because they no longer sense consistency, neutrality, or even the appearance of justice done or equal justice done under law. In a word, American justice, thinking of the people who lead the DOJ, the FBI, and many other parts of this perverse and twisted government, it appears to be now at liberty to be unjust to all, except these reprobates and their cronies. It matters that American liberty and justice is in the sewer. That matters not only to Americans, but also to Iranians, Israelis, Africans, Europeans, and people in the Caribbean. You see, democracy is exportable, not in the way that George Bush 43 thought he could export it to Iraq back then. Back then, Bush, and until today, many other Americans only love the sound of the claims to being exceptional or being the leader of the free world, while failing to understand that only true and total justice and liberty at home has the potency to ripple and travel abroad. Democracy by force necessarily renders the enforcers undemocratic. And the proof is what America has left in its wake, from Haiti to Panama, from Nicaragua to Gaza, from Iran to Libya, and almost a dozen other places internationally. You see, democracy does not survive on force alone, perhaps not even at all. It survives on legitimacy. President Joe Biden, one of America's true presidents, said that America should be known for the force of its example rather than its example of force, or something close to that. The moment certain people, supposedly of faith or principles or both, decided to excuse and then applaud things they once would have condemned in a school principal or a financial advisor or a pastor or a lawyer, all for some political gain or dominance, legitimacy, theirs, that government's, and their nation's, legitimacy flies out the window. When moral fortitude is sacrificed for political power, everything else becomes game for the sacrificial chopping block. As well, when you excuse many and varied and proven moral failures in a political candidate, just because he will impose your narrow, singular moral values upon either a minority or a whole category of people whose business is their own and not yours, and whose freedom is actually your freedom, then congratulations, you have just sacrificed your own freedom, safety, and moral authority. And both you and the people you had hoped only to corral into your self-righteous pigeonhole are all paying the price. Once enough people conclude that institutions are selective, partisan, tribal, or corrupt, the danger is not simply electoral defeat. The danger is national unraveling. And when nations unravel, its people lose what they cannot regain. Its people become what they cannot unbecome. And its people die deaths from which there is no resurrection coming. The great irony is that America has been here before. In the words of the master of witticisms, Yogi Berra, it's like deja vu all over again. The civil rights movement of the 1950s and 60s faced conditions just as severe as today's, or perhaps even worse. Segregation was legal. Black citizens were beaten, fire-hosed, dog-bitten, lynched. They couldn't vote. They were economically excluded. Churches were bombed. Little girls died. Leaders were jailed. Some were assassinated or otherwise murdered. Yet something extraordinary happened. A movement arose. It wasn't perfect, but it was morally disciplined, strategically brilliant, spiritually rooted, and publicly unavoidable, ubiquitous. Might there be some lessons from the past that can rescue us today? What did they have then that we might be able to do, or perhaps even replicate today? I shall answer that question next week. So please plan on joining me right back here. Until then, please share this video with someone or with many people. I am Michael Friday, and your week just got better. I'll see you again next week. Happy Monday, all the way, boom, to Friday.